Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons in context to the brand new 2024 uh, film The Order, starring Jude Law and Nicholas Hoult and Ty Sheridan and Journey Smollett. Very interesting film. I really enjoy this film. And first of all, this is every Dungeon Master content. Every Dungeon Master over the age of 18, I believe this film is rated R, should absolutely see this film. This thing was brilliant. It was a real banger. And I got invited by a friend to see two movies that I had no intention of seeing. I'd seen the trailer. It's almost impossible for me not to see a trailer. So I had seen the trailers for these, and I had really, decided not to go see these films. But I was like, oh, I'll give this a try. Well, let's see where this lands, right? And so so I went and I saw this movie, and so this movie was based. It's a fiction story, but it was based on a book. So that's not. It's really fascinating, right? I really feel this is what Truman Capote brought us. A fiction story based on a true story. It has all the excitement of fiction, but it has the resonance of a true story. So this is the story of the Aryan Nation in Idaho, and the Order was a group of the Aryan Nation, like super prejudiced, hyper hate mongers, and this was in the 80s, right? And basically there's this Aryan Nation church, and actually the FBI, law enforcement really didn't deal with these guys at all, and the reason why was they were lightweights. They didn't do anything. A lot of talk, no action, right? Well, finally, this son of a pastor comes up and he's like, "We're going for it, man. We're going to make the day of the rope real," right? And so basically, their plan was to recruit members, build an army, fundraise to get money, right? And then take it all the way to the point where they were doing domestic terrorism, right? And doing these things called Day of the Rope, where they were going to punish, they're really going to punish people for, really fascinating. They were going to punish people for, what's the best way to say this? They were going to dramatically punish people simply for not being white. It was pretty incredible, right? So this story is about Terry Husk, who was an FBI agent who worked against worked very hard against the mafia, the Cosa Nostra, and put a lot of people away. And then he got I think he had open heart surgery, right? And so he was supposed to kind of like calm down and like kind of dial it down. And so they put him in Idaho, and he went after this Aryan Nation group, right, to shut them down. And he ends up shutting them down, doing exactly that. But they were bombing stores, robbing banks, and hitting armored trucks, right? And they were getting millions of dollars to build this army to punish everybody who wasn't white for not being white, So this was an incredible story, right? Let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons. So February 7th, 1974, Gary Gygax brings Dungeons and Dragons into reality. And it changed the whole world. And I want to explain how with the Order. Okay. So I went to see the Order. That is the absolute lowest form of engagement possible. All right. Now, what I need to explain to you is this is so when we talk about engagement, right? Right now, the vast majority of the world is watching, right? Entertainment. It is the lowest form of engagement. You have no input, right? You can't change the story, and you see it, and then you've seen it. That's all that's happened. You've just seen it. I think this is important. See, okay? Now, I saw this film, lowest form of engagement. There were people who read this book, The Order. I guarantee they understand it much better, right? They were dealing with the source material rather than Hollywood's filtered version, right? And they reached a point where they understand the order, okay? Now, someone is going to come along and they're going to run it as a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, right? They're going to say, okay, the player character is Terry Husk, Dungeon Master plays everybody else, and you are going to be Terry Husk, and you are going to experience what it means to bring the Aryan Nation down, the fear of it, the glory of it, the danger of it, the relationships, the sacrifice. You are going to be it. You are going to be Terry Husk. You are going to experience this from the center of the story. You are going to be it. Terry Husk is new, and now a new identity that you attach to yourself, right? And you're going to pour some of yourself into Terry Husk, and some of Terry Husk is going to be poured into you by living his life, by embracing his dangers, by doing his sacrifices. This is identity stacking. And what I'm saying right now is this is the highest level of engagement possible to the secular person. The only form of engagement higher than this is literally faith-based conversion, right? Like that's the only... Gary was not able to defeat sacred text. There's still a richer experience within sacred text. But for the human experience, seeing it is the lowest form of engagement. Understanding is the second highest form of engagement. And what Gary brought forward, Dungeons and Dragons, being the thing, being the thing, being the thing, not seeing it, not understanding it, being it, experiencing it, feeling it, having it, doing it, being the thing. This is the highest level of human engagement that has ever been accomplished. And it makes what Gutenberg did trash. Gutenberg has been surpassed massively. Gutenberg has been surpassed massively. Do you understand that? What Gutenberg did has been surpassed by Gary Gygax. Now, I don't think you understand that. I don't. This is the entire point of my channel. Dungeons and Dragons is a shift for all of humanity in a way that humanity does not understand, except me. And I'm trying to get you to understand it. There are glimpses. There's this part where the veil is parted and light comes through and people see it. Joe Manganiello, he said, I'm having elevated conversations with people. On D&D Direct said, I'm having elevated conversations with people who have transformed their lives and the culture they live in, and correspondingly the culture they live in through Dungeons & Dragons, right? And what I'm saying is we see it. It's the lowest form of engagement. We understand it. It's this through books. It's the second highest form of engagement, right? But we can be it. This is new. This is profound. This is different at a level that people simply do not get, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.